Welcome to this class, and we are going to be continuing. So the last time we talked about creating a file, a draft, and a project file, right? So we are going to be continuing from there. And what we want to do is to create a draft by coming to this left-hand panel and click on this plus sign here on the draft to create a new design file, not a project. So I'm going to click on that and then click on design, and we are going to have a new design file here, as we can see. Now on the left panel, what we have there is the name of this design file. I can double tap on that to change it to, let's say, Figma tutorial. Let's call it Figma tutorial. Okay, tutorial, right? So that changes and that becomes the name. So if you look at this chevron icon, you can click on the chevron icon, and there are other functions that you can actually deal with. We'll come up to that later. Now down the name of the file, you have what is called the draft, which shows where this file is in, and then it shows free here, which shows that we're on the free account. Underneath that, we have the file. If you click on that file, it shows you different pages. So for now, we have just one page, which is page 1. So if I click on this plus sign here, I can add another page and name it, and it to be page 2. And if I click on another one, to be page 3. So I can take that out, so it will be page 3, right? And so on. We have other pages. So I use Ctrl Z to take that out just now. But you can rename the page as, maybe you can say the background, maybe the idea page. You can call it idea, you can call it whatever. So if you do and tap anywhere, that saves the name as idea. So I'm going to use Ctrl Z and take that out. Right now, underneath the page, we have what we call the layer. So if I click on the layer, automatically, you don't have to click. On page 1 here, we have this as the layer, right? So if I come down to this down panel here, come down here, and I click on this here and drag up, this is a rectangle, right? Bring up the rectangle. Automatically, this rectangle appears under the layer. Okay, so I have to just click on this chevron here, to this drop down icon here, to show that there is an icon here or an element called the rectangle. The same way, if I click on this chevron to bring up an ellipse, so we're having that here, it's going to appear under the layer, but in this page. So let's assume I have another page. Now this becomes page 2, right? Remember what we have in page 1 here. The layers of page 1 are not appearing in the layers of page 2. So it's more like opening a new page. And then if I try to design something else, it comes up and in page 2 and not in page 1. So that is how the page system works. Right after file, we have the asset. So if you click on the asset, that is where you have things you have stored in your page. We are going to talk more on the asset as time goes on. So after the asset, we have another icon, which is the search icon. So the search icon comes up once you're on the file. You can click on the search icon to search anything on this design file, and it will take you there. Say for example, I have rectangle, and you see it brings up the rectangle. Look at it. So you find it here. That is how this works. If for example you are on this page and maybe you lost direction, you can't find where you actually, let's say, let me drag it to this place, you are here, you can't find it, you can easily come down to the page and come to the layer. Now I'm clicking on this layer, I can't find where this ellipse is or this rectangle is. What do you have to do? Just click on, come down here, double click on it, and it will take you directly to that. Let's see it. You see, I just have to double click and it navigates me to where the icon or the element is. Next after that is on the right hand panel, we have the design, right? We have over here, which is your profile, of course, and next we have the present, which presents your design, and next is underneath here is what we have where we have the design. Now this design is like the whole of your canvas. Under, you can find where you have the color, you can toggle between, and it changes the color of the whole page, which is the page color. It changes the color of the whole page. I can change it to whatever I want, right? So let's take that back to white, right? Now if you come down, there is the variable style and other stuff you can come up to later. Then we have the next is the prototype. Prototype, just like how you display your design. Don't worry, we're going to come on to that later. And right next after that, we have the zoom page. But before that, we have the share, which is like you want to share your design to whoever you want, maybe someone, you have their email or stuff. It's just, you know what the share is all about. And next is the zoom button, the zoom option. So if you click on that chevron, you have, right now we're at 150% zoom. I can use the zoom in and it zooms in more, or I can use the zoom to or zoom out and it zooms out, or I can use the zoom to fit. Where is it? We have the zoom to fit, and this is it. An alternative to use the zoom to fit, I mean, let's try to see, it's control 0, right? So let's see, zoom to 50%, and then I want to click on control 0. You see it zooms to 100% to fitting, right? So that's just the shortcut key for that. So I'm going to leave this at 100, but if I want to zoom in, I can come here and do other things to zoom in and zoom out. All right, so if we are, I want to believe that we understand that. Now going on, we can click on anything here. So I'm going to, you can easily toggle between, look at, now we're on prototype. Whatever we click on in the canvas here will show us things that has to do with prototype. So I will have to navigate from prototype to design, so we can see how to play around our element in the design. So you see the functions have changed, right? So next we will want to look at, next thing we want to look at is the properties down here, right? So if you click on the chevron here, you have the hand tool. The hand tool allows you to move around your design, right? Why, if you go back to the chevron, you have the scale tool, we have the move tool, which is what we have been using. With the move tool, you can actually play around. With the move tool, you can actually play around with your design, move your design or your element around, unlike the hand tool where you move the whole canvas around. So after that, we have the scale tool. Now for the scale tool, you can actually use the scale tool to scale or increase the size of your component, your element proportionately, right? So the next is, we have this thing called the frame here, right? Let's click on this frame. Now on the frame, if you click on the frame and you come here to drag, you drag, and what you have something here, right? Come here, you see you have a frame under the layers. You see whatever we're adding on this canvas adds up in the layer section. So this frame we just added, if we click on the top of the frame here, the name on the name here, double tap on it, we can change that to, if let's say first frame, we can call that first, we can call this first frame, right? It becomes a frame and the name will implement here. Now you can see a frame and a rectangle almost looking the same. Let me change the color of this frame to something. The frame and this rectangle are almost looking the same, but they are different. Now let's see how they are different. For a frame, you can actually add an element inside a frame and it will stick. Let's say, for example, I want to add a text. Hello. Let me see. Hello, sorry. Let me see, hello. Right. Now let me increase the size of that to like 36. So let's have hello here. Now let's take a look at, put your focus on this place, right? And see how I move this. When I move it out, you see this is my text. This is the text here. So as I try to move the text inside this frame, notice what happens. It creates a sub layer where it's under this, our first frame here. So that means this text is inside the frame. So if I move the frame around, look at, the text goes around with it. So what if we try to do the same thing for a rectangle? Let's see how that works. Let's say we have our text here and we bring our look at, this is our text here, and we'll try to bring it inside this rectangle. Notice what happens. It didn't change. This is the rectangle, look at it. But our hello text still remain where it is, as opposed to this one that creates a sub layer for the hello text to sit inside the frame. So if we try to move this rectangle, it moves on its own without going around with the hello. But if we try to move this frame here, it moves around with the hello text. So that means a frame can contain other elements, but a rectangle cannot. But there is a way a rectangle can actually, which is by grouping it. So what I will need to do is to just highlight everything, just drag, highlight, then I can right click and come down to where it says group. right? So I'll come and click on this group selection. Alternatively, you can press Ctrl G and to group it. So automatically we have grouped it. Look at it's a group 1. So if I move it around now, it moves around because they are now in group. But the best way to deal with stuff like this is to have a frame and not a rectangle where you move these things around. So the next we want to talk about is click on the chevron. You have what is called the line, right? So you can actually just draw a line. This is the line, right? And going back there, we have what is called the arrow, which is also like an arrow. Just drag and leave. You have your arrow already. Just click anywhere on the screen. And then the next is we have talked about ellipse. Then we have the polygon. And drag and release. You have your angle, right? Now on this we can actually increase the number of sides that this angle have. So come down to this right hand panel. You have just 3, right? So if I click on that and make it, let's say 7, you're going to have 7 sides, which makes it a how do you call it? Is it septagon or what? So if we have like 6 here, it's going to be an hexagon, which is 6 sides. Now returning back to here, we have what is called the star as well. Just drag and release. You have your star, and you can change the number of angles the star has or point the star has. Let's say we want it to be 7, and just click anywhere on the screen. You have your 7 sides, and I think we have other one there. So if you come back here, we have image, right? So while we're talking about this stuff here, the right hand panel, I forgot to mention that if you click on this right hand panel here, you can actually download. When we went to the design panel, right? If you scroll down, you find what is called the export option, which is where you can actually download your design, or you can click an element and download. So if you click on this export here, you find out you have what is called you find out if you have this design will be downloaded as either PNG or whatever. So you can click on the chevron. You have your JPEG, SVG, and PDF. You can choose the format you want to download this item here. If for example I want it to be in PNG and it's a group, so I'm just going to click on export group 1. It will show the name. This is export group 1 because I clicked on group 1 and look at it, group 1. If it is first frame I want to export, I can click on first frame, come back to this design, scroll down, click on export, and you see saying export first frame. So that's how you do it. So you can either change it to JPEG or PNG. I prefer to use PNG in this case, and then click on export frame. I see it has downloaded here. It's now in our computer. So if you come back to this place where it says image, let's click on this now. See where it says image or video. So I'm going to click on image, and then look at that first frame we installed. I'm going to click on that and click on open, and automatically look at it, it's hanging up here. So what I just need to do is to drag and drop, and it stays. See? Or you can also click, but it will be too big, so I have to just drag and drop to make it sit at a proportionate size that I want. So it becomes an image. Now if you come to the left panel, you see for an image, the sign for image is different. Look at this is an image, it's showing an image sign. If you come to the angle, the normal angle, look at the sign it's showing, it shows for angle. So image is different for an angle. That's why you see the icon next to it is different. Now next to that we have the pen tool. Now for the pen tool, use it to, let's see this is how it works. You have to click first to have a starting point, then you have to click to have the next starting point. Or for this point, you can have, if you click and hold, you can actually play around with the shape, right? Click and hold. We'll talk more extensively about this in subsequent video. This is just for introduction. So if I click and hold, I have that. So I can end my point here. So we have a shape already, right? These are the pen tool work. And you can actually come look at other options are here where you can, let's say if I want to change the way the shape is, I can click on this here, and then I have the option to actually play around how I want this shape to look like, right? And you have the cut and other stuff we'll come up to discuss more on later. So next after that we have the pencil tool. If you click on the chevron, this pencil tool appears. Now the pencil tool is different from the pen tool in that the pencil tool you can use it to freehand, write freely, like freehand. Let's say I want to write my name, I want to write something, and let's say we. You see, I'm writing freehand, right? But you can't use the pen tool as free as this, right? look at, we are, right? So this is quite free. And next is the text, right? When you click on this T here, it brings you to the text. So you can either drag to have a box, or you just click. After clicking, you just click on anywhere, and it allows you to write hello or anything you want to write as a text, right? So next after that is the comment, right? If you are working with somebody, maybe it's a project and you are working with someone, you can easily, let's say if this is something you want to comment on what the person has done or something different. Maybe I want to comment on this star icon here that is not looking nice. After clicking on this icon, this comment, I can come to this stuff here, click on this, come to this stuff here, and I'll have the option to write. I can just say increase. Maybe you're working with somebody, this is where you can communicate to the person, increase the size. So if I write this for the person to come and see, the person will easily know that, okay. So after writing it, I can just come back to this, my tool here. And once the person is working, if the person comes back to this stuff here, okay, I didn't put that hello. Let's just write hello. And then it is there, right? This stuff, just click on the enter. This stuff this note I've dropped for the person is there for the person to come back and check. Maybe I write this icon is too small. The person while designing can come over it and over around it to see that this is my message, or they can better still see it on the right panel here. So that is that about that. And for this other place here is called the plugin. So if you want to, there are things called plugin in Figma. They helps work easy. I'll make work easy for you. So let's quickly install our first plugin. I'm going to show you how to install your first plugin. And the first plugin we're going to be installing is Iconify. So Iconify is a very popular, my stuff cap is still on. Iconify. Iconify is a very popular is a very popular plugin in Figma. So it allows you to get icons. So if you click on that icon, if I click on run here and wait for that to run. All right. So it's taking a while because, all right, so it has loaded. Right now that it has loaded, there are a lot of icons here. I can come here and maybe I want to look for what icon. Let's say WhatsApp icon. If I'm looking for WhatsApp icon for maybe for any project, I can easily come here and see WhatsApp, and then I search. And then there are a bunch of WhatsApp icon. I can just click on any one and import as frame, or whichever way I want to. I can import as frame, then I can look at the icon here, or I can drag and drop. Click on it, drag it and drop it here. Look at it is there. So I cancel this, and we have our WhatsApp icon here. We have our WhatsApp icon, whichever method you choose to bring the icon out. So next after that, we have this draw here. Although these functions are kind of we'll talk more about this later. If you click on that draw, there are other options that will come up for you to use, which you can look at, scribble around. So we'll talk more on that. The next is this icon here that says design mode, which is what we have been doing. And the next is the dev mode. Design mode is basically this mode we are in designing, and we have the dev mode. The dev mode is just for the designers, developers. And again, this is for the paid version, not for the free version. What this does is it helps developers understand whatever you are designing, the rightful height and length for whatever they want to code for your design. So let's go back to design. This is how this works. So in order not to bore you guys with long lengthy video, I'm going to stop the video here and hope that I have been able to explain this interface for you, so that subsequently as we continue along you understand how this whole thing work. So guys, make sure you watch this video till the end. If possible, watch it again to understand it better. See you guys in our next video.